Mexico is a magical but complicated country. The flora and fauna that can be found in this wide territorial extension of almost 2 million square kilometers is so varied and imposing that it's no mystery why people all around the world decide to travel and discover all of the fascinating places, food, people, and history that Mexico has to offer. Nevertheless, Mexico is actually really far from being a perfect country. As in other places, Mexico has its dark side, which slowly but steadily has been disrupting and setting back all of the positive qualities that represent us as Mexicans. Unemployment, extreme poverty, crime, corruption, and immigration are just a few examples of all the problems that average Mexican needs to fight on a day-to-day basis. All of us know someone who at some point was unemployed, unfairly fired, or as some people say, in a sabbatical year. Approximately 4.6 of all Mexicans are in an unemployment situation, meaning that almost 5 million people in this country are incapable of buying essential goods such as water or food. Compared with Sonora, which has 4.9 of unemployment over the almost 30,000 unemployed people in Hermosillo, undoubtedly, the lack of job opportunity that exists in this country is worrisome and must be taken in consideration. According to the Expansion magazine, some of the proposals to increase the unemployment rate in Mexico are facilitating formality, creating more help from the state of government, and improving some taxes schemes. Actually, unemployment is really connected with the following topic, which is extreme poverty. According to the ACNUR, extreme poverty can be defined as the most serious state of poverty, when a person cannot meet the most basic needs food, clean water, a ceiling, or access to health and education. Pitifully, according to the latest poverty measurement in the country, with data from 2018 prepared by the National Council for the Evaluation of Social Development Policy, or Coneval, in Mexico, there were 52.4 million poor people, and 9.3 million of them living what is considered as extreme poverty. Comparing this with Sonora, and according also to Coneval, from 2008 to 2018, extreme poverty in the state was of 2.6, and the capital Hermosillo, the incidence of access back to food was of 20.6, for a population of 162,000 people. In Mexico, 4 out of 5 people suffer from some level of poverty.
Something that I will never wish that happens to anyone is being a victim of any type of crime. Sadly, to many of us, for at least one time in our lives, we had been victims of a crime or at least had known of someone close to us, a friend, relative, or coworker that had passed through these horrible and misfortune situations. A crime is the intentional commission of an act usually deemed socially harmful or dangerous and specifically defined, prohibited, and punishable under criminal law. Mexico is a country that has been plagued with violence since 2006. In 2019, it was estimated that an average of 95 murders per day occur in the country. Mexico's homicide rate remained high in 2020 despite the coronavirus pandemic, with a decline of only 0.4% compared to 2019. Authorities state that 34,515 homicides had occurred in 2020, which only was 132 fewer than the 34,648 committed in 2019. The crime rate and statistics for 2020 in Mexico was 29.07, a 13.08% increase from 2019. In Sonora is located behind Mexico City in the 10th place of the states more dangerous in Mexico. Its crime rate is 1,356 in 2019, the most violent year for Mexico. Hermosillo is the second city of Sonora with the highest crime rate after the city of Cajeme. In Hermosillo, 200 cases of homicides were registered in 2020, even though an insignificant reduction was shown of about 6.54% less homicides compared to the year 2019. Some of you may be already familiarized with the term corruption. You may have heard it from your parents or seen it in the news that a person is corrupt. Most of the time we associate corruption with people that have a high position in the government, like a president, senators, or in some cases police officers. Corruption is a dishonest behavior done by those in positions of power, such as the managers or government officials. Corruption erodes trust, weakens democracy, hampers economic development, and further exacerbates inequality, poverty, social division, and the environmental crisis. According to the US News, Mexico is in the third place of the top 10 most corrupt countries of 2021. According to a National Quality and Government Impact Survey published in 2017, 56.7% of the population aged 18 years and over consider that corruption in Mexico is one of the most important problems behind insecurity and crime. According to the news El Sol de Hermosillo, procedures that are discussed with police or public security personnel are the ones that, in the majority of the times, end in an act of corruption and have put Sonora in the last national place in the Competitiveness Index 2020 in the area of a stable and functional political system. In 2017, in Sonora, the CPI Corruption Perceptions Index was for every 100,000 citizens, 61,652 had suffered an act of corruption during a governmental procedure, which is that 62%. According to a survey from the ISAF in Hermosillo, 6.4% citizens have experienced an act of corruption. The 90% of the citizens have the perception that in Hermosillo exist many acts of corruption. Due to the lack of employment, the bad economical situations, the high crime rate, the insecurities, and many other reasons, it is why people from third world countries emigrate to other countries like the United States, which have more opportunities for having a better quality of life. Immigration is the relocation or process of people leaving one country to reside in another. Immigration affects the economies of the countries involved in both positive and negative ways, depending on the current state of the country's economies. Mexico is the second country with the most immigrants displaced in other countries, with an average of 11,796,178 immigrants in 2019, which is 9.32% of the total population. 97.40% of immigrants from Mexico travel to the United States, 1.72% to Canada, and 1.45% to Spain in search of a better quality of life. Between 2015 and 2020, 20,208 people left Sonora to live in another country. 89 out of 100 went to the United States of America. In 2013, the degree of immigration intensity in Hermosillo was low, with a 0.6481 of percentage.
There is no doubt that Mexico is a magical country that has many problems. However, and for this very reason, it is our duty as young Mexicans to ensure that the future of our country flourishes in the best possible way, pursuing the Mexico that we deserve.